All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel, Digital Dollars Now. My name is Jacqueline. I wanted to connect with you just really quickly in light of some things that are happening now in the news and with some of the updates that we have. So before I get started, I would just say if you can, if you enjoy these posts, please do like and subscribe to the channel. It does help me. So I greatly appreciate it. Um, I wanted to come on and just do kind of an update because somebody, a friend of mine, kind of reached out and brought this to my attention, and I hadn't really thought of it like this until just yesterday. But that what we're kind of seeing with President Donald Trump and the verdict that was just recently announced about his trial, um, and it's kind of, I think we're in the midst of some prophecy fulfillment. I had a dream about 3 years ago now. It was May 5th, 2021 is when I had a dream regarding President Trump. And I will link that video in the description of this so that you can watch the full video of that dream and what it was. I'll summarize it in short here because I don't want this video to be long. But essentially, there, is a verdict that took place very recently regarding Donald Trump. He was found guilty on all 34 counts of his New York criminal hush money trial that's ongoing right now. And I believe there is scheduled the sentencing that's scheduled July 11th. Um, to determine, whether he's going to go to prison or if he could have only probation or a shorter sentence or maybe something. I don't know what may happen during that time, but I will speak right now just to my dream and what I believe was a prophetic dream that God gave me, because at that time, obviously, the election had just taken place in November of 2020, and then about 6 months later is when I had this dream. So I was thinking the dream at that time was kind of an answer to the prayers that I had been praying on regarding the election and what we know took place during that election. I didn't know the timing of when that dream would actually come to pass, and I had secretly hoped it would be sooner rather than later. But God's timing is perfect, so it's in God's hands right now. But I do think right now that this is a call to prayer for all of us prayer warriors, to be praying for Donald Trump, to be praying over this sentencing date that's on July 11th, and just to be praying for God's will to be done here. So, whatever that may be, whatever that looks like. So, I'm going to speak about the dream that I had, just in short summary, and where I think we are in that dream. The dream that I had, it in the dream, I was um, flying in the air, if that makes sense, with the Holy Spirit. I sensed the Holy Spirit was there with me, but I couldn't physically see him with my eyes in the dream. I only had a sense of knowing that the Holy Spirit was with me as I was flying through the air, and I could see. To my right as I'm flying is this huge, beautiful tropical island. In my mind, it looked just like Hawaii. Um, Oahu is the only island I've ever been to, and it reminded me of Oahu. Just beautiful, lush, green mountainside scape and ocean surrounding it. So I don't know exactly what the island represented in the dream, but I do know that in the dream I was flying, and then in the midst of me flying, all of a sudden Donald Trump appeared in between me and the Holy Spirit, and I'm holding his hand, his left hand. The Holy Spirit is holding his other hand. So Donald Trump could not fly on his own. He had to be assisted in my dream. So we were helping him fly through the air. And then something happened where we were flying, and all of a sudden, I lose grip of his hand. He slips from my grip somehow, and he ends up falling. And where he's falling, we were just flying over kind of a cliff's edge. So it was almost like we're flying in the air, we're flying over land, and all of a sudden there's this cliff, and he falls as if the cliff he's falling off the cliff, but he's in the air, and he's literally falling to his death. And so I'm diving in after him to try to catch and help him. And the Holy Spirit is still holding his hand, though, so at least the Holy Spirit still has hold of him. And but he's still falling. And before he does end up hitting the ground, I'm able to just get a hold of his pant leg of his suit, because he was, as you always see President Trump, he's always wearing a nice business suit. He's always dressed in good attire. So I was able to get a hold of his pant leg just before he hit the ground, and we were able to just swoop him up and kind of fly along maybe just a few feet above the ground. And I was able to kind of right him because he was falling backwards at that time, when I caught him, and then help grab one of his arms, and then kind of gently putting his legs down on the ground so that he could kind of gain speed as we're flying. And then we kind of gently, kind of like an airplane's wheels would touch down, his feet are touching down, and he's starting to run and kind of get his feet out from under him. And then both me and the Holy Spirit let go of him, and he's able to run off. He just runs off into like a field of flowers that is like one of the most beautiful scenes I've ever seen. And he just takes off like an Olympic runner, shooting off into this beautiful um, meadow kind of thing, and up into where he was running. And I don't know if it was up the mountainside or if it was up where he was going, but there was nothing in his path that was hindering him from where he needed to go. He had somewhere to go, and he was going there fast, and he um, he was blazing a trail. So in my dream, I had kind of thought that maybe this was um, an answer to my prayer about the previous election, that there was going to be some type of vindication or something that would happen there. But what I'm seeing now with everything that's playing out, it could be his fall could be correlating to where we are today, and what's going on with him, because he is going through a literal criminal trial, and he was just found guilty um, for these 34 counts that are being you know uh, tried against him. So I believe it falsified records of concealing unlawful interfering in the 2016 presidential election through the 130,000 hush money payment that was made to um, Stormy Daniels, I believe is what uh, this was all about, to help his presidential election. So it is what it is. Um, I don't know the outcomes that are going to come from this. I only know the dream that I was given, correct? And so from there, I'm going to share now my opinion, my personal opinion of where I think we're at. Um, you know, there are others that maybe have better gifts at dream interpretation. So I encourage you to watch the link to the video, and maybe that would help me clarify, or it may clarify to you better than the way I'm interpreting it now. But I do feel that where President Trump is right now is he's in that free fall. He's in the free fall state of my dream, and it's not looking good for him, right? He's been convicted. He was found guilty on all 34 counts of this criminal trial and what they brought against him. But there is still future things that are going to happen, right? They're the scheduled hearing for sentencing, and who knows what can happen in between those times. I'm not too versed in judicial law and what can happen there, but I do know that God has a plan here, and it could just be to the point where and my personal prayers is that I think Trump needs to be humbled a little bit. That's just my personal opinion. And he needs to put his full trust in God. I think there may be areas of his life that maybe he hasn't fully turned over to the Lord, and allowing the Lord to work through him. But I think that this is a humbling period for him, and he needs to put his full trust in God and allow God to work through these things, as he has, his professional team surrounding him and working through this criminal trial, his attorneys and all of these things. um, but the most important thing and powerful thing I think we do as spectators and as believers is our prayer. So we need to be praying for Trump 100% right now, and for this time. And I believe that God has a plan through this. We'll only know what that plan is on the back end, right? Because I do believe that Trump will be reelected in spite of the things that are happening right now, right? And in spite of this guilty verdict, I do think that in the election that's coming up, 2024, he will be a reelected president. Um, because I mean, just the personal dream that I had um, showed Trump victorious, right? And it showed him moving on a path without any hindrance. So he was moving forward in a way that he was going to be successful where he was going, and he's not going to have the same roadblocks that I think he had in his previous term, um, in 2016. So the end of the dream, if you watch the video, it'll explain it a little bit more. But after in the dream, Trump had gone on his way. He ran off in the direction he needed to go in, right? I actually flew away from the island in the beach area and went out over the ocean. And there, surrounding me in the dream, all of a sudden was tons of people flying in the air with me. And the thing that I spoke to them, I spoke three words, or not three words, but I spoke three times. The eagle has landed. The eagle has landed. The eagle has landed. I spoke it three times. And yes, that is three words, but I spoke it three times. So I just wanted to point that out. And the fact that I feel like the people that I was flying off to tell the exciting news about were also believers. These were also people that were prayer warriors. These were people that were praying for America, praying for Trump, praying for, you know, um, the United States and where we're at right now. Um, and waters, biblically represents many people, many nations, many tongues. So I think that these are people that aren't just United States citizens or people living in the United States. These are prayer warriors from all over the world who are praying for America and who are praying for our presidential elections and for President Trump. So that was just the sense and feeling that I had from the dream. And I feel like it's very important, the time that we're in right now, to be praying for President Trump, where he is, to pray that God's will be done in his life, and whatever that may mean, or whatever may need to happen there, whether there is some type of surrendering that needs to happen, or humility, just acknowledgement that maybe there was a little bit of pride going on. I don't know what his personal relationship is with the Lord, but I think the outcome of what's happening now is going to strengthen his relationship in the Lord. It probably very likely strengthen his faith in God, because he is going to have a personal testimony that he'll be able to speak to in the future about how God worked through him and worked through his life and worked through the circumstances that he's going through, because he's had enormous amounts of persecution towards him, and just battles and warfare and crazy stuff that we've probably only seen a small percentage of it in the news and in the media, which has been a lot. But we don't even know about all the stuff that's kept secret or hidden or in his personal life. And um, so I would just encourage you, in your prayer time with God, please keep President Trump in mind, keep our nation in mind, pray for um, our government, for our election process, for and just pray the Lord's will be done in all of these things, because his timing is perfect. His will is perfect. He's never late or delayed. He knows exactly what needs to happen and when it needs to happen. So that's what I try to do with my prayers, because I don't want to pray out of alignment with what God's doing. And um, only He knows how these things are all going to weave and work together for the better good. So that's what I like to do. But I am encouraged to kind of see that this dream that God gave me, now it was over 3 years, well, just came up on a 3 year anniversary, um, that it's actually taking place. And I just pray that my dream is fulfilled, and that we see um, President Trump be, salvaged or saved from the situation, this fall that's happening right now that we're witnessing, and that he is actually able to, from that point, take off and go where the Lord has him, whatever his purpose is that God needs him to serve. I pray that he's able to accomplish that unhindered. So thank you so much. That's all I wanted to say. It's short and sweet, and I hope that this blesses you and encourages those of you that may be feeling, you know, disappointment and just kind of feared, or maybe just sadness really about this entire situation. So I hope that this encourages you and gives you a little bit of hope and something to look forward to. And just keep in mind, your most powerful weapon that you have as a believer is your prayers. So thank you all. God bless you. And I look forward to continuing to update you and keep you posted. So God bless. Have a great day. Bye bye now.